Good evening and welcome to Kini News, the show that brings you the day's biggest stories. The Health Ministry today reported that 6 clusters involving madrasas and tafiz centres have been identified.
Malaysia reported 40 more COVID-19 cases on Wednesday, bringing the country's total infections to 6,819. Health Director General Dr Noor Hisham Abdullah said out of the 40 cases, 31 are non-Malaysians. He also reported 1 death, bringing Malaysia's COVID-19 death toll to 112. 70 more patients have been discharged, which means 5,351 patients have recovered from COVID-19 in Malaysia since the outbreak began. Malaysia's COVID-19 recovery rate is now at 78.47% out of the total number of positive cases. Meanwhile, the Health Director General expresses concern over COVID-19 asymptomatic cases among teachers, staff and students of madrasah and tafiz centres. As of today, 6 clusters involving madrasah and tafiz centres had been identified, 4 of which were subclusters of the Sri Petaling Mosque Tabligh Convention cluster. To date, 635 positive cases have been detected from the clusters. He added that of the 635, 539 showed no symptoms, which could lead to a spread of the virus if preventive measures are not taken.
Dan kalau tak ada berjala, mereka ingatkan mereka sihat, tetapi mungkin mereka boleh menjangkiti rakan-rakan mereka di kampung ataupun membawa balik penyakit itu dan menjangkiti keluarga. Terutamanya kita bimbang ialah warga mas, ibu bapa mereka ataupun atuk dan nenek mereka. Jadi inilah kita ingin memperingatkan kepada mereka kalau boleh tampil ke depan untuk saringan dan ujian di klinik kesihatan ataupun di hospital di Kementerian Kesihatan Malaysia.
Pay up or your benefit will be revoked, says Senior Minister Ismail Sabri Yaakob today to non-citizens who still have not paid their quarantine hotel bills.
The government has warned that action will be taken against non-citizens who refuse to settle hotel and other costs after undergoing mandatory quarantine. Defence Minister Ismail Sabri Yaakob said this in reference to long-term social visit pass holders and permanent residents with Malaysian spouses or family members who have returned to Malaysia during the Movement Control Order MCO. In his daily press conference today, the senior minister said the Immigration Department has been granted permission to take action pending full payments of the cost.
Kita bukan bermakna kita batalkan PR mereka ataupun pas lawatan mereka itu tidak dibatalkan. Tetapi segala kemudahan dibatalkan. Sebagai contoh, untuk renew pas mereka mungkin selama ini mungkin 2 tahun atau 3 tahun sekali mereka perlu renew. Selepas ini mungkin 3 bulan atau 4 bulan sekali mereka mesti renew pas lawatan mereka.
Only Malaysians and family members with long-term social visit pass holders and PR are allowed to enter the country during the MCO, but all must undergo 14-day quarantine at government-selected facilities and hotels. Ismail reminded that the Malaysian government will only bear the cost of quarantine for citizens.
The showdown between Dr Mahathir Mohamad and Muhyiddin Yassin continued as the former Prime Minister and Bersatu chairperson made another accusation against the party president Muhyiddin Yassin.
Bersatu chairperson Dr Mahathir Mohamad launched yet another jab at rival Muhyiddin Yassin, accusing the party president of flouting the Bersatu constitution. This comes after Mahathir and his son, Bersatu Deputy President Mukhriz Mahathir, were not included in an invitation to a party Supreme Council meeting. Speculation is that the meeting, which has since been postponed, was to sack the duo. In a video today, Mahathir stressed that such meetings could only be called by him as the party chairperson.
Saya tak dijemput dan Mukhriz juga tak dijemput. Ini bermakna bahawa mesyuarat itu salah. Salah daripada segi perlembagaan parti. Dan banyak sangat kesalahan yang dilakukan.
Mahathir has also recognized attempts to oust him from the party he founded, saying he is willing to be kicked out as long as the move is done appropriately. Elaborating, Mahathir pointed to how Anwar Ibrahim had been given the chance to explain himself before the UMNO Supreme Council expelled the latter from the party in 1998.
Ini juga kesalahan besar. Sebab itu, saya dapati bahawa mungkin Muhyiddin dijangkit oleh penyakit UMNO kerana suka membuat sesuatu yang tidak mengikuti perlembagaan parti.
Prosecutors dropped money laundering charges against one of the producers of the Hollywood hit The Wolf of Wall Street after he agreed to settle with the government.
The Kuala Lumpur Sessions Court today granted movie producer Riza Abdul Aziz a discharge not amounting to an acquittal DNAA from money laundering charges involving 1.25 billion ringgit linked to one MDB funds. Judge Azman Ahmad made the decision after the prosecution and the accused reached an agreement through the representation presented to the Attorney General's office. Deputy Public Prosecutor Gopal Sri Ram said that under the terms agreed to by both sides, the federal government would receive several million ringgit. The DNAA would be subject to the accused fulfilling his end of the agreement. The court also allowed the return of the 1 million ringgit posted by Riza's two bailers. Riza, who is former Prime Minister Najib Abdul Razak's stepson, was charged with 5 counts of money laundering, allegedly misappropriated from the Sovereign Wealth Fund. Riza, represented by Hariharan Tarasing and Tines Kivetti, made representations last year for a review of the charges. He claimed trial in July 2019 to the money laundering charges allegedly involving funds received from 2 companies said to be linked to fugitive businessman Joe Low.
There was no drama at the Johor State Assembly today as His Majesty the Sultan of Johor warned of another, quote, virus at the opening of the 14th Johor State Assembly.
The Johor State Assembly ended with the status quo today, with both Perikatan Nasional and Pakatan Harapan abiding by a royal decree not to engage in politicking. The sitting ended right after Sultan Johor Sultan Ibrahim Sultan Iskandar's royal decree.
Sekalian bukanlah masa untuk bertegangan bertikam lidah bagi mencari pengaruh politik atau kepentingan pribadi, kerana tindakan sebegini akan melahirkan satu virus yang lebih berbahaya, iaitu virus perpecahan.
This was after rife speculation of a possible standoff between the new Perikatan Nasional State Government and Pakatan Harapan. Johor Menteri Besar Hasni Muhammad said he would ensure all assembly persons abide by Sultan Ibrahim's decree and work together to help the people amid the COVID-19 pandemic. At a separate press conference, Johor Harapan Chief Aminul Huda Hassan claimed they have the numbers to oust Hasni but said they will save this for a more appropriate time.
Sebab itu daripada awal kita mengatakan bahawa kita tidak akan bawa motion no confidence Quran B sebab kita tahu ianya akan menambahkan rasa tidak senang di kalangan rakyat apabila berlaku perkara perpecahan di kalangan pemimpin-pemimpin politik dalam negeri Johor.
Police are investigating Religious Affairs Minister Zulkifli Mohamad for breaching the movement control order after he reportedly held meetings without observing health and safety guidelines.
Kajang Police are investigating claims that Minister in the Prime Minister's Department, Zulkifli Mohamad, breached the movement control order (MCO). In a statement today, Kajang Police Chief Muhammad Zaid Hassan said they have received 2 reports about the matter thus far. Zulkifli, who oversees religious affairs, has been contacted for comment. In one mated police report cited by Malaysia Kini, Zulkifli was said to have personally handed over replacement letters to Department of Islamic Development JAKIM officers on March 31st. He was also alleged to have held meetings with several guests at his office without any social distancing on April 13 and April 14. Zulkifli was further said to have handed over aid to orang asli in Terengganu and held a kenduri with his officers. A date for this event was not stated. The complainant said these events were all shared on Zulkifli's official Facebook page and urged the police to investigate the minister for breaching the MCO. The MCO first came into effect on March 18. Those caught violating the order and guilty of offences under the Prevention and Control of Infectious Diseases Act 1988 could be fined up to 1,000 ringgit or jailed up to 6 months. Deputy Health Minister Nur Azmi Ghazali and Perak Executive Councillor Razman Zakaria previously plead guilty for breaching the MCO and were fined 1,000 ringgit each.
Still to come, protest movements return in Hong Kong as the city has managed to keep the coronavirus under control. All that and more after this. Welcome back. The reduced profile of the coronavirus in Hong Kong has brought attention back to the pro-democracy protests against Hong Kong Chief Executive Carrie Lam.
Hundreds of protesters gathered in shopping malls across Hong Kong on Wednesday, flouting coronavirus-related social distancing rules to mock unpopular Chief Executive Carrie Lam on her birthday. Police, both in riot gear and plainclothes, entered some of the malls and at least one arrest was made after officers pushed back a crowd using pepper spray. Most shops had to close. It was the latest sign social unrest was resurfacing in Hong Kong, as the city has proven relatively successful at tackling the coronavirus, having recorded 1,051 cases and 4 deaths. While the government has allowed bars, gyms and cinemas to reopen and civil servants to come back to work, it maintains that group gatherings should be limited to 8 people. Lam, who turned 63, is Hong Kong's least popular leader, having tried to push a bill that would have allowed extraditions to mainland China last year, sparking large-scale, often violent protests. Social distancing rules imposed to help contain coronavirus contagion has largely put a brake on protests since January. But after clashes with the police at the weekend, in which 230 were arrested, demonstrations are expected to pick up steam again into the summer. This amid fears the coronavirus is distracting the international community, potentially offering the opportunity for a stronger securities crackdown. Although the extradition bill has been scrapped, protesters continue to demand an independent inquiry into the police handling of protests last year, as well as universal suffrage.
President Donald Trump made an even more direct show of disapproval of Dr. Anthony Fauci as the doctor warned of the human cost of Trump's push to quickly reopen the country.
US President Donald Trump on Wednesday described as unacceptable a warning given by top US infectious disease expert Anthony Fauci about the dangers of reopening the economy and schools too quickly. This has further deepened his rift with Fauci over loosening coronavirus restrictions.
I was surprised by his answer, actually, because, it's just, to me, it's not an acceptable answer, especially when it comes to schools. The only thing that would be acceptable, as I said, is professors, teachers, etc., over a certain age. I think they ought to take it easy for another few weeks, 5 weeks, 4 weeks, who knows.
Fauci also warned that a premature lifting of lockdowns could lead to additional outbreaks of the deadly coronavirus, which has killed more than 82,000 people in the United States. The president, who previously made the strength of the economy central to his speech for re-election in November, has encouraged states to reopen businesses and schools that were closed to halt the spread of the coronavirus. Fauci, a proponent of the lockdowns, has become a target for criticism from the American far-right and online conspiracy theories since he made statements that were at odds with Trump's. In April, Trump retweeted a call to fire Fauci after the doctor said lives could have been saved if the country had shut down sooner, spurring speculation his days in the administration could be numbered. Meanwhile, a CNN poll showed that over half of Americans think that the US government is doing a poor job in containing the outbreak, while just 36% of Americans trust Trump for reliable information about the coronavirus.
And that's all we have time for this evening, ladies and gentlemen. For more stories, you can go to KiniTV.com. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube and Facebook for the latest news updates. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, maintain social distancing and don't forget to wash your hands. I'm Daniel Anthony. Stay home, stay safe, Malaysia, and thanks for watching.